What happens when boxing royalty wins a throne back, but doesn't even crack a smile doing it? What happens when greatness walks into the ring not to fight, but to stare his next victim in the eyes? This wasn't just a championship defense. This wasn't even about William Skull. This was the opening act to the biggest fight boxing's seen in a decade. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence "Bud" Crawford. And after what just happened live on DAZN, Canelo looked at Bud and said without hesitation, "I'm killing you next." Let's break down what really went down in Riyadh, how Crawford stormed the spotlight, and why this face-off might have just flipped the boxing world upside down. Let's keep it a buck. Canelo Alvarez is back as undisputed super middleweight champ. But this fight, it had everybody from Saudi princes to Twitter trolls nodding off. William Skull? Undefeated, sure. Tall? Yup. Technical? Kinda. But exciting? Nah. Canelo himself said it best. It was boring. He was just trying to survive. I hate fights like this.
How are you feeling after your great performance tonight?
Oh, I feel great. I win, I come to put a great show, but to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, but at the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with William Skull?
Yeah, a little bit, but
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I say to him, you just come to, you can not win a fight like that, fighting like that, and he say, I'm sorry. It's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry. That's fine.
How are you feeling after your great performance tonight?
Oh, I feel great. I win, I come to put a great show, but to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, but at the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with William Skull?
Yeah, a little bit, but
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I say to him, you just come to, you can not win a fight like that, fighting like that, and he say, I'm sorry. It's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry. That's fine.
Skull came in with reach, footwork, and a lot of running around energy. But Canelo? He didn't chase. He stalked. Methodically, coldly, landing 40 brutal body shots to Skull's weak 6. The judges called it 115 to 113, 116 to 112, and 119 to 109. Unanimous. Canelo didn't just win, he owned the ring. But what happened after the fight is what had the internet breaking in real time.
Good job neutralizing Canelo power punches. He was just moving a lot.
Do you think that's like a style you have to employ at points of the fight?
I don't know, because if you watch the styles that beat him, they didn't move a lot. They moved a little bit, but not as much as William Skull.
There's a rumour going around this week that Manny Pacquiao is going to return. What do you make of that?
I don't know. We shall see. I don't know.
Do you think he's too old at 46 to fight Barrios?
I can't say if he's too old or not. If he get in there and win, then everybody will be saying different. So I don't put no limit on an all-time great like Manny Pacquiao.
Where does a win against Canelo Alvarez put you in the list of all-time greats?
Top, baby. Come on now.
What's the key to victory, Terence?
Be myself. Be myself.
All right, guys.
That's it.
Excuse me.
Right as Canelo was catching his breath, the ring got cleared. Turki Al Sheikh, Saudi Arabia's entertainment boss, stepped in like it's WWE and announced, Now we want to do the face-off for the fight of the century. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford, the man who destroyed Errol Spence Jr. The two-division undisputed king. The dude Canelo once said was too small to fight him. Now, he's staring Canelo dead in the face like he's already won. And y'all, Canelo's smile was gone. No belts, no talking, just tension. Cameras flashing, the crowd going crazy. Crawford stepped up and dropped the bomb. In September, I'm showing the world what greatness looks like. No trash talk, just venom. And then Canelo hits him back with a grin and a whisper, "I'm killing you next." This ain't just boxing anymore. This is ego versus legacy. Respect versus dominance. Power versus perfection. For years, Terence Crawford has been knocking on Canelo's door, calling him out, dropping hints in interviews, and letting the whole boxing world know he wanted this smoke. But Canelo? Canelo wasn't hearing any of it. He straight up brushed Crawford off, and why wouldn't he? In Canelo's eyes, Crawford was too small.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so I guess we could see it next.
We're talking about a man who started out in the lightweight division, now aiming at a monster who's held titles all the way up to light heavyweight.
Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan.
He's not in the plan?
No.
Okay. Is there a specific reason for it? Is it because of his size, or it won't do anything for you in terms of pushing you toward your goals?
You know, like I say, if it makes sense, maybe. I don't know right now. I just gonna enjoy this fight, and please let me enjoy this fight. And then you're gonna know what is next.
From the outside looking in, it felt like Canelo didn't take Bud seriously. Not even after Crawford demolished Errol Spence and put the entire welterweight division on notice. Canelo wasn't impressed. He wanted to see Crawford face some of the bigger sharks before he even considered a fight.
Man, Charlo gave him too much respect, man. He didn't fight his fight.
What would you do to Canelo?
I don't know if he was scared or not, but, you know, Canelo did a tremendous job in there. He did what he had to do.
Oh, that was you out here? I got Carl. We done this again. I said, my bad, Carl. Which one you want? Which one you want?
But now, the script just flipped. The fight is confirmed. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is locked in for September during Riyadh season, and it's going down in Las Vegas.
What do you think of Crawford saying you want to move up to 68 and fight the winner of Canelo Charlo at 68?
I commend them for it, because it takes a lot of balls to do it. A lot of courage, but it also takes, more importantly, it takes believing in yourself. So I commend Crawford for it.
The size difference that once kept this super fight in dreamland, it's now the exact reason everyone's watching. And let's be real, this ain't just about belts anymore. It's about legacy, weight jumps, and doing something nobody else dared to try. Crawford is literally jumping 2 weight classes, from junior middleweight at 154 to Canelo's kingdom at 168. That's not just a step up. That's a leap of faith into one of the most dangerous divisions in boxing.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah.
UFC legend Joe Rogan recently chimed in on this. And let's just say he's concerned. During an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan said it plain and simple. I just hope he's big enough. I hope he's big enough to keep that dude off him. Because Canelo hits so hard, man. This ain't just some casual fan doubting Crawford. Rogan's interviewed Bud. He respects him. But even he knows this is going to be a war of physics, as much as it is a war of skill.
He's
Or when he fought Floyd, rather.
he's big, like muscular wise, but far as like height,
Right.
nah. So yeah, that wouldn't be nothing that we had to see.
That would be insane. For you to go from 140 all the way up to 168.
That'd be dope.
Woo!
I think it can happen. I think that's to be honest. I think that's the biggest fight in boxing. He beat Charlo, Terence Crawford, Canelo. That's the biggest fight in boxing, hands down. No other fighters could compare to that. No disrespect to Charlo, but he's not a superstar. He's not, on Canelo's level. Now he got a chance. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's going to do well in that fight, and he got the tools to win. It's just.
But here's what makes Bud so dangerous. He knows what he's stepping into. He's been chasing this exact challenge, this exact risk. He's not just chasing greatness. He's trying to redefine it. No warm-up, no prep fight. Just time to bulk, focus, and get his body right for the biggest moment of his career. That means by September, he'll have gone over a year without stepping in the ring. But that's how serious this man is about fighting Canelo.
Well, first of all, I give Crawford all the credit in the world for even thinking about possibly fighting Canelo. But if that fight ever takes place, I have Crawford 1,000%. And people are going to say, oh, well, you're contradicting yourself. I kind of am, but Crawford is also a big guy. Crawford is a big guy who can handle a Canelo because they're the same size. Crawford is a guy who punches hard, but he doesn't rely on his power. He relies on his footwork. He relies on his speed, on his change-ups. He relies on his combinations. He relies on his mind. And I believe that Crawford is a way better boxer than Canelo.
He doesn't want to dilute the moment. He wants the full focus on one thing, shocking the world.
Everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, catch weight. We can do something at a catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably 160 or something.
But you said you said 154 is the highest you want to go.
Yeah, 158, 160. That'd be.
So, if you're still sleeping on this fight, wake up. We've got a generational technician in Terence Crawford moving up to face a heavy-handed juggernaut in Canelo Alvarez. It's brains versus brawn, speed versus power, and history versus destiny. September is about to go crazy.
Canelo Alvarez thinks you're not a 54-pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he either grab me or move. For the bigger guy, you should have been walking me down. You should have been bullying me. Canelo can say, what do you say?
He just doesn't feel like you're a 54-pounder. He believes that you're a real weight class. And
Our real weight class is 168.
It's not Canelo trolling.
I just want to know if I'm too small for 168. A lot of people my whole life been doubting me.
Right.
I know I'm smaller than Canelo. I know I'm smaller than these guys.
Yeah, but Canelo's pretty short too. Canelo's
Yeah,
your height too.
we're the same height. We're the same height.
Exactly, for a 68-pounder. But he is a freaking boulder. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a thick kid.
We know that.
Let's give it up to DAZN and the Saudis for this setup. They didn't just promote a fight, they built a movie around it. Canelo walking in at 6:20 a.m. local Saudi time, just so the U.S. West Coast could catch the fight in prime time. The skull match was basically a formality. The real drama was watching Terence Crawford sitting ringside, arms crossed, eyes locked in.
I don't know. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, I wouldn't think that Canelo watched Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of fighting him at 68. I think for Canelo, it's more about the credibility he gets through victory. I think he's a little bit concerned, having spoke to him in the past, that if he beats a guy that's coming up from 147 to 168, is he really going to get the respect for that? So we'll see. I mean, money talks. You know, if it's the right deal, he'll always take the fight.
Even before the fight started, Crawford told DAZN's Claudia Trejos, "Canelo is the guy we got our eyes on." He scouted the whole fight, not cheering, not tweeting, just calculating. That stare down in the ring wasn't for the cameras. That was a contract signed with no pen. So now, the million-dollar question: who's really got the edge in this fight? On paper, it's easy to lean toward Canelo. He's the naturally bigger fighter. He's been fighting at 168 for years. And he's gone toe-to-toe with giants like Dmitry Bivol and Sergey Kovalev.
I didn't know you sparring.
I got Crawford ready for when he fought Sean Porter.
Okay.
I was with him for a few weeks. What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford. And it'll be a tall task for him to win. It'll be a lot you have to it'll be a lot to get that victory based on, size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard. I mean, nothing's impossible. But if I had my money on somebody winning the fight, it'll be Canelo Alvarez. Even though Terence Crawford is a great fighter. They're both great fighters. And you got two great fighters in there. But I think one guy got the advantage due to his makeup, his body type, how big of a person he is. And, I think that will be a deciding factor in that fight.
Not to mention, he's got the experience, the power, and the chin to back it all up. But don't get it twisted. Just because Crawford's moving up in weight doesn't mean he's walking in as the underdog mentally. If anything, Bud thrives when people doubt him. Every time they've said someone was too strong, too skilled, or too experienced, he's shut them all down one by one. Crawford's boxing IQ is on another level. His timing is elite, and his switch-hitting ability keeps even the sharpest fighters guessing. If this fight turns into a tactical chess match, don't be surprised if it's Crawford who controls the pace.
Boom, 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 bang. Boom, boom, boom,
But if it becomes a war of attrition, that's Canelo's world. The real X factor here is whether Bud can carry his speed, stamina, and pop up to 168 without losing what makes him special. Because if he can, this might not be the mismatch some people think it is. It might just be the moment Crawford steals the crown. Let's talk about that now iconic line. "I'm killing you next." Canelo didn't say that to hype the crowd. He leaned in, eyes locked, and said it like a man who's already seen the outcome. It wasn't rage, it was a promise. That's the scariest kind of fighter. Not the one who screams, but the one who looks at a legend and whispers a death sentence. Bud smiled, didn't flinch. He just said, "We'll see." That's what makes this fight dangerous. The date is locked. September 12th, 2025, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. Over 65,000 fans expected. DAZN pay-per-view going global. Saudi money behind it. America watching. This ain't just a boxing match. This is two future Hall of Famers stepping in to decide who the GOAT of this generation really is.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
At the end of the day, this ain't just a fight, it's history in the making. Two generational talents, two undisputed kings from different worlds, finally meeting in the middle of the ring for a once-in-a-lifetime showdown. Whether you're Team Crawford or Team Canelo, one thing's for sure. This fight is going to shift the entire boxing landscape. So now it's your turn. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who's walking away with the crown in September? Is Crawford biting off more than he can chew? Or is he about to shock the world again and take down boxing's biggest star? Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more fight breakdowns and updates, and don't forget to turn on notifications. I'll catch you in the next video.